Walking away from marriage, children, and other stuff we're supposed to have. Modern Stoicism. Do you ever feel like society is pushing you toward a life path you're not sure you want to follow? Marriage, children, and career milestones. These are the things we're all expected to check off the list. But what if you don't feel the need to do any of them? What if your happiness doesn't come from the traditional journey? In today's world, many are beginning to walk away from these societal expectations, questioning whether these norms truly bring fulfillment or just more pressure. Enter modern Stoicism, a philosophy that can help you navigate these choices with clarity, authenticity, and inner peace. In this video on Stoic secrets, we'll dive deep into why walking away from marriage, children, and other societal must-haves might actually be the key to finding real happiness. Stoic secrets show us that true freedom comes from living life on your own terms, not by adhering to external expectations. So, what happens when you reject the script and forge your own path? Let's explore how modern Stoicism can guide you to a life of self-discovery, free from the weight of societal pressure. Factors influencing the decision to have a family or children. Number 1. Social norms on marriage and children. In modern society, the expectations surrounding marriage and children are deeply rooted in tradition. From an early age, we are often led to believe that these milestones mark the pinnacle of success and the fulfillment of our deepest emotional needs. Society, our families, and the media reinforce this belief by depicting marriage as the ultimate achievement and children as the key to both happiness and the legacy one leaves behind. This narrative places immense pressure on individuals to conform, with those who deviate from this prescribed path sometimes viewed as outsiders or even failures. In many cultures, choosing to remain single or childless is seen as a failure to fulfill one's societal obligations, as if one's personal worth is intrinsically tied to fulfilling these roles. This external pressure is built upon the assumption that family and children are the fundamental pillars of a meaningful and successful life, that without them we are somehow incomplete. It's important to acknowledge that this notion, while widely accepted, is not an inherent truth, but rather a constructed expectation that has been handed down through generations. When we delve into the teachings of modern Stoicism, however, we are reminded of a key principle: the only things within our control are our own thoughts and actions. Epictetus famously said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Stoicism encourages us to evaluate the societal norms that shape our decisions, challenging us to question whether they truly reflect our own desires or if they are simply the result of external pressures. In a world where individuals are frequently told what they should want, Stoicism empowers us to define success on our own terms. This approach does not reject marriage or children as worthwhile pursuits, but rather invites us to look inward and ask, do these external goals align with who I am and what I value? In doing so, we gain clarity about whether they are truly a source of fulfillment or merely a checklist dictated by others. As we consider these expectations, we are reminded that modern Stoicism teaches us to focus not on the approval of others, but on the internal peace that comes from living authentically. In modern life, this idea translates to finding fulfillment in ways that reflect our own values, whether that means pursuing a career, a life of solitude, or even the decision to form relationships that are more meaningful than traditional ones. True freedom, as the Stoics would argue, lies in our ability to choose our path, not one laid out for us by societal norms. By challenging ourselves to rethink the expectations that we've inherited, we begin to uncover the quiet strength that lies in walking away from them. After all, to quote the philosopher Seneca, "A man is not good because of his riches, but because of his soul." It is this inner peace, this alignment with our deepest values, that forms the true foundation of a successful life. Instead of living according to external standards, we are called to live according to our own nature, guided by wisdom, virtue, and personal integrity. So, if you find yourself questioning the social pressures that have shaped your life, remember that modern Stoicism provides a framework for reclaiming autonomy and for cultivating a life that is rich in meaning, whether or not it follows the traditional paths of marriage and children. Number 2. Perspectives on not having children or marriage. In today's world, the pressure to marry and have children is overwhelming, as if these are the markers of a successful life. Society presents marriage and parenthood as the ultimate goals, and anyone who chooses a different path is often judged. But what if you decide not to follow this traditional route? Many people do, and their reasons are diverse. Some question the ethics of bringing children into a world filled with uncertainty, while others feel the responsibility of parenthood is too great, fearing they can't provide the necessary love and stability. There's also growing awareness of the toll these choices can take on mental health, career, and personal growth. Unfortunately, those who choose to remain unmarried or childless often face harsh criticism, sometimes labeled as selfish or irresponsible. Public figures face even more backlash, accused of neglecting their societal duties. But is it truly selfish to choose a life outside societal norms? Could this choice be an act of self-determination? Consider this. How often do you feel pressured to conform to societal expectations that don't align with your values? Modern Stoicism encourages us to challenge these assumptions, to step away from external pressures, and to live according to our own personal philosophy. The Stoic mindset isn't about meeting others' expectations, but about embracing personal choice and responsibility. This clarity is both freeing and empowering. Stoics like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius remind us to focus on what's within our control and release the need for external validation. Life is not about ticking boxes, it's about aligning with our deeper values. Imagine someone like Sarah, a successful entrepreneur in her 30s. She is often asked when she will settle down or have children, but Sarah's choice to remain unmarried and childless is not to avoid responsibilities. It is to devote herself to her career and personal growth. For Sarah, her happiness comes not from meeting societal expectations, but from living a life that is aligned with her own purpose. Her story isn't about selfishness, it's about making choices that nurture her mental, emotional, and professional well-being. Could we all benefit from this kind of clarity in our lives? Could you embrace the freedom that comes with rejecting external labels and forging your own path? Modern Stoicism teaches us a powerful lesson. It's okay to live a life that doesn't follow the traditional script. It's okay to question the status quo and make choices that reflect your personal truth. As long as your decisions are guided by reason and integrity, they are valid. True freedom lies in stopping the search for validation from the outside world and focusing on cultivating inner peace, resilience, and self-determination. When you free yourself from societal expectations, you open the door to a life of possibility, one where you can create fulfillment on your own terms, without guilt or regret. What would it feel like to walk your own path, without worrying about others' judgments? What if, instead of following the conventional milestones of marriage and children, you defined your life by your passions, goals, and personal growth? This is the essence of Stoic living. It's about taking ownership of your life, understanding that your worth comes not from fitting into a mold, but from living authentically and with purpose. So, the next time you encounter judgment or pressure to conform, remember, the Stoic path is not about seeking approval from others. It's about embracing what truly matters to you and having the courage to walk your own way, even if it means stepping away from societal expectations. The lessons here are clear. First, life is not one size fits all. Each of us is on a unique journey, and our choices should reflect what brings us peace and fulfillment. Second, the most important relationship is the one with yourself. By prioritizing your well-being, you can better show up for others. Finally, Stoicism empowers us to think critically about societal norms and to make decisions based on our own values. In a world that pressures us to conform, there is strength in choosing a different path. So, what choices are you making today? Are you living for yourself or just following a script someone else wrote? Number 3. Benefits and drawbacks of having children. The decision to have children is one that carries profound weight, with both significant benefits and equally substantial drawbacks. In modern times, this decision is often viewed through the lens of societal expectations, where parenthood is seen as a natural milestone in life, a part of the script we are expected to follow. For many, the idea of becoming a parent is filled with meaning and purpose. The chance to nurture a new life, to shape the future generation, and to leave behind a legacy. The joy that comes from forming a bond with a child, watching them grow, and witnessing their milestones, such as graduations or even the birth of their own children, can bring unparalleled emotional fulfillment. It's an experience that many parents deem their most significant achievement, feeling proud of their contribution to the world and the continuation of the family line. However, the Stoic perspective reminds us to step back and reflect deeply before making such a life-altering choice. While the joys of parenthood are undeniably beautiful, the reality of raising children is far from the idyllic image we often envision. Parenting comes with its own set of sacrifices, financial strain, emotional exhaustion, and often the loss of personal freedom. The pressure to be the perfect parent, to live up to an image constructed by society and sometimes even by our own idealistic standards, can lead to feelings of inadequacy, anxiety, and self-doubt. This constant striving for perfection in an area as challenging as raising children can quickly become overwhelming. It is in this context that modern Stoicism offers a powerful guide. The decision to have children should not be dictated by societal pressures or the desire to meet a preconceived notion of what life should look like, but rather by a rational understanding of one's personal capacity to handle such responsibility. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely put it, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." Parenthood is a commitment that requires careful reflection on one's own values, capacities, and desires. Only by understanding the full scope of what parenthood entails, its challenges, joys, sacrifices, and rewards, can one make a decision that feels authentic and true to their nature. Rather than merely following societal norms or romanticizing parenthood as the ultimate fulfillment, modern Stoicism urges individuals to consider their emotional, financial, and psychological resources before embarking on such a journey. In doing so, they can make a decision that reflects their true self and leads to a life that is both meaningful and aligned with their core principles. Today, many individuals feel societal pressure to have children as part of their journey, but this can lead to internal conflict when faced with the realities of parenthood. It is crucial to acknowledge that, in Stoic terms, it is not the having or not having children that matters. It is the deliberate and thoughtful alignment of our actions with our inner values and circumstances. Modern Stoicism invites us to approach such a significant decision with clarity, balance, and a deeper understanding of our own lives. It encourages us not to let external pressures define our path, but to instead focus on what is truly within our control, the ability to live authentically and choose wisely based on our personal strengths and limitations. In the end, the decision to have children or to walk away from that path is a deeply personal one, and embracing the Stoic approach can provide the peace of mind to make it with confidence and a sense of purpose. Let me ask you this: are you ready to take full ownership of your life, to empower yourself through mastery and mindful choices? If so, now is the time to act. Like this video and share your thoughts in the comments below. True freedom starts within. Parenthood is a significant life choice, but it's not about conforming to what society expects. It's about aligning your decisions with your true values and capacities. Embrace Stoicism and find peace in making authentic, purpose-driven choices. Join the conversation and let us know how you're navigating these life-altering decisions. Number 4. The philosophy of antinatalism. Antinatalism is a philosophical position that raises the unsettling yet profound argument that bringing children into the world may be morally wrong due to the inescapable suffering that life entails. This stance is built upon both ethical and existential grounds, as proponents believe that life is inherently filled with pain, hardship, and despair, and that non-existence would be far preferable to enduring such inevitable suffering. This viewpoint disrupts the traditional cultural narrative that equates procreation with the natural flow of life, suggesting that having children is an essential part of human experience and personal fulfillment. Antinatalists often highlight a variety of concerns to justify their position. For instance, some emphasize the environmental crisis, arguing that with the planet's resources already strained, the addition of more people exacerbates ecological damage and hastens the depletion of essential resources. Others focus on the emotional suffering that can accompany human existence: chronic illness, heartbreak, disappointment, and existential angst, and assert that it is more compassionate to avoid bringing new lives into a world where such pain is unavoidable. While this perspective is seen by some as overly pessimistic or even nihilistic, dismissing the beauty and potential joys of life, it offers a serious critique of the assumptions we often make about existence. In contrast, modern Stoicism provides a more balanced and reflective framework for understanding life's inherent challenges. Stoicism teaches that while suffering is a part of life, it does not dictate how we should live. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, famously said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This reflects the Stoic view that adversity is not something to be avoided, but rather embraced as a chance to practice virtue, to demonstrate resilience, and to exercise our ability to make choices in alignment with our highest values. In this way, Stoicism encourages us to focus not on the inevitable suffering of life, but on how we choose to respond to it. It suggests that while suffering is unavoidable, it is our attitudes toward suffering that matter most. Stoicism, unlike antinatalism, does not argue for avoiding life or denying existence. Instead, it urges us to approach life with wisdom, virtue, and self-control, regardless of external circumstances. Modern Stoicism, therefore, empowers us to make decisions based not on external pressures or cultural expectations, but on what is meaningful to us as individuals. In the context of procreation, Stoicism would challenge us to reflect deeply on our motivations, whether they come from societal expectations or from a true internal desire to create life and contribute to the world. It invites us to consider whether bringing children into the world aligns with our sense of purpose and values, or if it's a decision driven by external narratives we've been conditioned to accept. In the modern age, where many people grapple with issues like environmental concerns, economic uncertainty, and the complexities of personal fulfillment, Stoicism provides a framework for navigating these existential questions. Rather than following societal norms blindly, Stoicism encourages individuals to examine their choices, whether it's deciding whether to have children, pursue a particular career, or engage in any other life-altering decision. By embracing the Stoic perspective, we realize that our happiness and fulfillment are not bound to external achievements or societal roles, but lie in the cultivation of a virtuous life. This approach allows for a more reflective, mindful existence, one in which our decisions are made with clarity, integrity, and a deep understanding of our personal values. In this way, modern Stoicism stands in contrast to antinatalism by offering an optimistic, empowering approach to life, an approach that acknowledges suffering but focuses on the power we have to live virtuously in the face of it. As Stoic philosopher Seneca wisely stated, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." This reflection reminds us that the true value of life lies not in avoiding pain or hardship, but in how we navigate them, live through them, and find meaning in our choices. Thus, whether one chooses to have children or not, whether one follows traditional life paths or forges a different journey, Stoicism invites us to examine our motivations, align our actions with our values, and choose a path that fosters personal growth, resilience, and wisdom in an unpredictable world. Number 5. Studies on satisfaction of childless people. In recent years, studies have consistently shown that many childless individuals report higher levels of life satisfaction and well-being. This is not to say that having children doesn't bring joy to some, but rather that without the heavy responsibilities of raising children, childless people often find they have more time, energy, and resources to focus on their own personal growth. For many, this extra space in their lives allows them to pursue passions, travel, and develop their careers with fewer external demands. Imagine having the flexibility to take spontaneous trips, invest more in hobbies, or commit time to your own physical and mental health. These freedoms, while precious, can be hard to come by when raising children, and studies show that many childless individuals experience lower stress levels as a result. Of course, this lifestyle is not universally fulfilling. Parenthood can be immensely rewarding for many, but it's an option worth considering, especially for those who feel overwhelmed by the societal pressures to follow the traditional path of marriage and children. The truth is, Stoicism teaches us a powerful lesson about happiness. It's not defined by external circumstances, such as whether we have children, a partner, or a certain lifestyle. Instead, it's about how we respond to life's challenges and how we navigate through them with wisdom and understanding. The Stoics believed that we have control over our internal world, and by focusing on cultivating inner peace and self-awareness, we can find contentment in our lives, no matter the path we choose. Life is full of decisions, and Stoicism encourages us to make choices that align with our values, rather than what society tells us we should do. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. Have you ever felt pressured by external expectations, perhaps from family, friends, or society itself? These pressures often push us toward goals that don't truly resonate with our inner desires. Maybe you've been told you need to settle down, get married, or start a family to live a complete life. But what if you chose to reject these conventional ideals in favor of something that felt more authentic to you? Stoic secrets lie in the understanding that true fulfillment doesn't come from meeting societal expectations. It comes from aligning with our own values and purpose. For some people, choosing to live a childless life is a decision rooted in self-awareness. It's not selfishness. Rather, it's a conscious decision to focus on personal growth, health, and experiences that resonate deeply with who they are. Could you imagine a life where your happiness isn't tied to external markers like marriage or children? What if your joy came from the freedom to make decisions based on your own internal compass, rather than the approval of others? This is the core of Stoic living. Crafting a life that feels true to yourself, regardless of whether or not you follow the traditional script set by society. For many, the key to happiness lies in taking ownership of their own lives and not allowing external pressures to define their choices. So, how do you define your happiness? Is it dictated by the norms around you, or are you allowing yourself to make choices that bring you personal fulfillment? The Stoic path teaches us that true fulfillment comes from within. When we focus on the things that matter most to us, rather than seeking approval or validation from others, we open the door to a life of authenticity and freedom. It's about having the courage to craft a life that reflects your values, even if it's different from what others expect of you. When we free ourselves from society's blueprint for fulfillment, we take full responsibility for our own happiness and growth. The Stoic secrets are rooted in self-determination and the courage to walk your own path, even if that means choosing a life that doesn't conform to traditional expectations. What choices are you making today? Are you living for yourself, or are you simply following the script someone else wrote for you? Number 6. Stoic philosophy on life choices. Stoic philosophy offers profound guidance for those of us questioning whether to follow the conventional paths of marriage, parenthood, or other societal milestones that we are often taught to strive for. In a world where external success is often equated with personal fulfillment, Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control the events and circumstances that happen to us, we do have complete control over how we respond to them. This fundamental idea is what sets Stoicism apart from the pressures of modern society, where success is frequently measured by markers such as marriage, children, or a certain lifestyle. For many, these external benchmarks become the ultimate measure of happiness and self-worth. However, Stoics encourage us to think beyond these societal expectations, instead focusing on living a life rooted in virtue and wisdom, where our true fulfillment is derived from internal growth rather than external achievements. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This statement encapsulates the core of Stoic thought and helps us navigate life's myriad challenges. It reminds us that our happiness is not dependent on the approval of others or the completion of societal milestones, but rather on how authentically we live in accordance with our values. In today's world, where the pressure to conform to societal norms is often overwhelming, Stoicism offers a valuable antidote. It encourages us to pause, reflect, and examine our own desires and motivations. By doing so, we can make decisions based not on societal expectations or the desire for external validation, but on a clear and rational understanding of what aligns with our true self and purpose. A Stoic might choose not to marry or have children, not as an act of rebellion, but after thoughtful self-reflection and a deep understanding of what brings them genuine fulfillment. This choice is not a rejection of societal norms, but an intentional decision that is in harmony with their personal values and goals. By making this choice, they live authentically, free from the burden of external pressures, and focus on what truly matters to them. Modern Stoicism is not about rejecting the world or its expectations, but about learning how to navigate it in a way that is mindful and deliberate. By focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, we can approach life's challenges with greater resilience, clarity, and wisdom. This Stoic mindset teaches us that happiness and fulfillment are not found in the external accomplishments we achieve, such as a successful career, marriage, or having children, but in living a life true to our inner values. By shifting our focus from external achievements to internal growth, we free ourselves from the shackles of societal expectations and create a life that is both meaningful and authentic. Whether it's the decision to walk away from the traditional paths of marriage, children, or other societal milestones, Stoic philosophy provides a framework for navigating these choices with clarity and peace of mind. It encourages us to live according to our inner wisdom, unburdened by the judgments of others. Stoicism teaches us that the most important thing in life is not what we have or how others see us, but how we live and who we are when no one is watching. This timeless lesson, which was just as relevant in ancient times as it is today, offers a path to a life that is truly our own, guided by reason, virtue, and the pursuit of inner peace. By embracing the Stoic way of living, we can navigate the complexities of modern life with greater resilience, authenticity, and a sense of fulfillment that transcends external validation. If you're still with me, it's obvious you appreciate thoughtful decisions and embracing your true path. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment with the phrase, "Live on your own terms," and let's continue the conversation together. More insightful content is coming your way soon. In exploring the various factors that influence the decision to have a family or children, we've seen how social expectations, personal philosophies, and even deeper views on life shape our choices. Whether it's the societal pressure to follow a prescribed path, the benefits and challenges of parenthood, or the Stoic philosophy on making life decisions, these elements all play a crucial role. Ultimately, the choice to walk away from traditional norms can be deeply personal, and understanding these factors empowers us to make informed, authentic decisions. The benefits of rejecting societal norms, according to Stoic philosophy. Now that we've explored the factors that influence our decisions regarding family and children, let's move on to how Stoic philosophy can guide us in rejecting societal norms. How can it bring us freedom and inner peace? Let's delve deeper into the Stoic benefits of stepping away from societal expectations in this section. Number 1. Freedom and personal choice. Rejecting societal norms can be a powerful doorway to personal freedom and self-determination. In today's world, many of our decisions are shaped by forces outside of ourselves. Family expectations, cultural traditions, and the demands of society often dictate what we should do, how we should live, and even who we should be. This constant pressure can create a life that feels inauthentic, where we might follow prescribed paths simply because they are expected of us, not because they align with our true desires or needs. By stepping away from these rigid norms, however, we open the door to a life of greater authenticity and fulfillment. We gain the ability to craft our lives in accordance with our true values and aspirations, rather than being driven by what others deem right or acceptable. Modern Stoicism, a philosophy that emphasizes wisdom, virtue, and self-control, encourages us to embrace self-sufficiency and independence. It teaches that true freedom does not come from external circumstances such as wealth, marriage, or parenthood, but rather from within. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely said, Freedom is the only thing you cannot give away. You can only take it away. This idea is a cornerstone of Stoic thought. Freedom comes from mastering ourselves, not from controlling the world around us. It is the ability to respond thoughtfully to life's challenges and make decisions based on our own values, not because of societal pressure. Stoicism encourages us to look inward, to discern what truly matters to us, and to align our actions with that understanding. Take, for instance, someone who chooses not to marry or have children. This decision, which may often be viewed as unconventional or even controversial by societal standards, can offer a profound kind of liberation. It allows the individual to dedicate their time and energy to pursuits that are deeply meaningful to them, such as personal development, career goals, or creative passions. These choices, rooted in personal reflection rather than external expectations, can lead to a life that feels both freer and more fulfilled. It is not that marriage or parenthood are inherently wrong or burdensome, but that Stoicism teaches us to assess our choices based on our true needs and desires, not merely to meet external expectations. In a world where many are taught to seek validation from others, Stoicism provides an alternative approach. Rather than striving for approval or conforming to social norms, we are encouraged to seek personal growth, cultivate virtue, and live authentically. Stoicism teaches that happiness does not come from the approval of others, but from living in alignment with our values and principles. By embracing freedom in this way, by focusing on what matters most to us, rather than what we're told is important, we can begin to create a life that is genuinely satisfying, not one dictated by external pressures. True freedom, then, is not just about rejecting societal norms, but about intentionally designing a life that reflects who we truly are. In a society that often pushes us toward conformity, choosing a path of authenticity can feel like an act of rebellion, but it is ultimately an act of self-empowerment. By stepping away from the weight of societal obligations, we create space for lives that are guided by our personal beliefs and goals. This process allows us to live more intentionally and pursue what truly brings us joy, without being burdened by expectations that may not align with our true selves. The Stoic approach, therefore, is not about avoiding life's challenges or the roles society offers, but about choosing how we want to navigate them. By making choices that reflect our own values, whether it's dedicating ourselves to work, exploring creative passions, nurturing meaningful relationships, or embracing solitude, we open the door to a life of deeper satisfaction. This life is sustained not by the whims of societal expectations, but by the inner strength of living in alignment with our deepest desires. Modern Stoicism teaches us that true freedom lies not in doing what others expect of us, but in having the courage to do what aligns with our values. By rejecting the constant pressure to conform, we find a deeper sense of meaning and fulfillment. This philosophy invites us to take control of our own narratives, to reject the limitations placed upon us, and to build a life that is uniquely our own, one that reflects who we truly are and what we truly value. When we live authentically, unhindered by the opinions of others, we discover the greatest freedom of all, the freedom to create a life we can truly call our own. Number 2. Breaking free from expectations. The pressure to meet society's expectations can often feel overwhelming, from the unspoken rules about marriage, children, and career success, to constant reminders from family, friends, and media about what a successful life should look like. It's easy to lose sight of what truly matters: our personal happiness and inner peace. These external pressures, while often well-intentioned, can distract us from living authentically. But what if we chose to ignore these societal scripts and instead focused on what feels right for us. Stoicism offers a powerful answer: look inward, not outward. According to Stoic philosophy, real happiness comes from within. It's not about meeting the world's expectations or seeking approval from others. It's about understanding our own values and making decisions that reflect them. The Stoic secret to a fulfilling life is in rejecting society's rigid molds and reclaiming control over our actions. Think for a moment, how often have you felt pressured to follow a path because it was expected of you, even if it didn't align with your true desires? Whether it's the push to marry, have children, or pursue a certain career, these external pressures often cloud our judgment and make us feel like we are living for others, not ourselves. Take Emma, a woman in her early 30s who was constantly confronted with questions about why she remained single and childless. Over time, she realized that the traditional path of marriage and children was not for her. Instead, she created a life focused on personal growth, travel, and pursuing her passions. Emma's decision to abandon societal expectations of marriage and parenthood was not an easy one, but it was an empowering one. Her life is now full of deep intellectual pursuits, meaningful relationships, and a sense of freedom that allows her to grow without the weight of others' expectations. Emma's journey shows us that rejecting societal norms can be liberating, offering the chance to prioritize our own happiness and well-being. This is the heart of Stoic living, understanding that our worth is not determined by what society expects, but by how we align our actions with our own values. The Stoic mindset isn't about disregarding the world entirely. It's about understanding what's within our control and what's not. Society's expectations are often beyond our control, but our response to them is always in our hands. By focusing on what we can control, our actions, our thoughts, and our personal growth, we free ourselves from the need for external validation. This is where real freedom lies. In fact, when we choose to live authentically, we often find a deeper sense of joy and fulfillment. This isn't a life of selfishness, but of self-awareness and self-care. It's about making decisions that honor our emotional, intellectual, and spiritual needs, rather than simply meeting other people's expectations. When we adopt this mindset, we stop feeling trapped by societal norms. Instead, we move confidently in our own direction, knowing that the choices we make are right for us. Now think about your own life for a moment. How much of it has been shaped by external pressures? Are you living in a way that feels true to you, or are you trying to meet expectations that don't align with your desires? What would it feel like to let go of the need for approval and live life on your own terms? This isn't to say that marriage or children are wrong choices, but to ask whether these things are genuinely what you want, or if they're simply things society has told you to want. Stoic secrets reveal that when we stop seeking approval from the outside world, we open ourselves up to a life of possibility and freedom, where we make choices based on our inner values, not societal norms. Living authentically requires courage, but it brings peace. Stoicism teaches us that happiness doesn't come from external circumstances, but from the clarity and peace that comes with aligning our choices with our deeper sense of self. By rejecting the need for approval and focusing on what we can control, we can create a life that is meaningful and fulfilling, even if it doesn't follow the traditional societal script. So, how will you begin to break free from expectations today? What choices will you make that align with your true values, not those imposed by others? The Stoic journey is one of self-determination and personal freedom, where happiness isn't defined by society's standards, but by your own peace of mind and authenticity. Number 3. Achieving lasting inner peace. One of the fundamental principles of Stoic philosophy is the pursuit of inner peace, a state of tranquility that arises not from external circumstances, but from the cultivation of wisdom, self-discipline, and emotional resilience. In a world that often demands we conform to societal expectations, Stoicism offers a path to peace that is independent of external validation or approval. Modern Stoicism teaches us to shift our focus from the pursuit of fleeting success and recognition to the development of our inner strength and personal growth. By letting go of the desire for external praise and societal achievements, we begin to uncover a deeper sense of fulfillment that comes from living in accordance with our own values. This practice involves examining our thoughts, emotions, and actions with the goal of aligning them more closely with reason and virtue. As the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This simple yet profound truth reveals the essence of inner peace. Our happiness does not come from what the world hands us, but from how we interpret and respond to it. In modern life, we are often bombarded with messages that success means following a prescribed path: marriage, children, career, and so on. These milestones are seen as markers of fulfillment and personal achievement, yet they are often transient and can leave us feeling empty if we have not chosen them for ourselves. A Stoic, for example, might choose not to marry or have children, not because they are rejecting the idea of family, but because they have thoughtfully considered what will bring them true peace and fulfillment. By making choices that align with their own values, they avoid the trap of living for external validation and instead cultivate a life rooted in authenticity and self-awareness. This is where the beauty of Stoic philosophy truly shines. It teaches us that our peace is not contingent upon external circumstances. Whether we experience success, failure, praise, or criticism, the Stoic recognizes that their true peace lies not in these fleeting events, but in their ability to control their responses to them. In essence, it is not the world that disrupts our tranquility, but our attachment to it and our expectations of what it should be. By learning to accept the things we cannot change and focusing our energy on what we can, our thoughts, our actions, and our attitudes, we build the emotional resilience necessary to maintain inner peace, regardless of the challenges we face. In the modern world, where societal pressures often dictate the course of our lives, this practice of Stoic detachment offers a powerful antidote to stress and anxiety. It allows us to question the norms we have been taught to follow and to assess whether they truly align with our authentic desires. The decision to walk away from marriage, children, or other societal expectations is not an act of rebellion, but a courageous choice to live a life true to oneself. This decision, grounded in self-reflection and wisdom, fosters an inner peace that cannot be shaken by external events. As Epictetus wisely stated, "No man is free who is not master of himself." True freedom, according to the Stoics, comes not from the approval of others or the accumulation of external markers of success, but from mastering our own emotions and desires. In choosing to prioritize our inner world over the external, we are not rejecting life or society, but rather embracing a deeper, more meaningful existence. Modern Stoicism teaches us that lasting peace comes from within, from the understanding that we are not at the mercy of life's uncontrollable circumstances, but that we have the power to shape our responses to them. The pursuit of inner peace is not about denying the realities of the world, but about developing the emotional resilience to navigate it with grace and equanimity. By focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, our reactions, and our values, we can create a life that is grounded in peace and fulfillment, regardless of the external chaos that may surround us. In the end, the true essence of Stoicism is the realization that happiness and peace are not found in external achievements or societal approval, but in the quiet strength of knowing and living in alignment with our deepest values. This is the lasting inner peace that Stoicism offers, a peace that is steadfast, unshaken, and always within our reach. If you've ever felt the weight of societal expectations pressing down on you, or if you've ever questioned whether the pursuit of external success truly brings lasting peace, we'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments below and tell us how you approach the quest for inner peace in a world that often demands conformity. Your insights and experiences can help create a space for authentic discussion and reflection. Whether you've chosen to prioritize your own values over societal norms or are still navigating these decisions, your perspective is valuable. Let's continue this journey together. Comment, "I choose peace" below if you resonate with the idea that true fulfillment comes from within. And let's foster a community centered on wisdom, self-awareness, and emotional resilience. Number 4. Redefining success and happiness. Modern Stoicism offers an alternative approach to success and happiness that challenges conventional societal norms. In today's society, success is often defined by external milestones such as marriage, children, or career achievements, goals we are taught to aspire to from an early age. These cultural markers can lead to the belief that true happiness lies in fulfilling these expectations. However, Stoic philosophy encourages us to redefine success at a deeper, more meaningful level. According to Stoicism, true success is not about accumulating material wealth or societal accolades, but about cultivating virtue, wisdom, and inner peace. As Epictetus wisely said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." This perspective shifts the focus from external rewards to living a life aligned with reason, integrity, and personal values. True happiness in Stoicism comes from the pursuit of a life governed by virtue, not by external achievements. In Stoic thought, happiness is not about chasing pleasure or comfort, but about living according to one's core values. It is about self-discipline, embracing life's challenges with courage, and knowing that we are living a life of purpose. For example, a person who chooses a minimalist lifestyle without the desire for material wealth or children might find fulfillment in the simple joys of life, reading, learning, or helping others, rather than in acquiring possessions or climbing the social ladder. These individuals have made a conscious choice to prioritize meaning and peace over societal expectations, focusing on what truly brings lasting joy and satisfaction. Our society constantly tells us that success is linked to external markers like home ownership, family, or career milestones. But Stoicism teaches that fulfillment comes from stopping the comparison game and focusing on what genuinely nurtures our well-being. As Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." The constant chase for more, whether it's possessions, status, or social validation, can lead to restlessness and dissatisfaction. When we align our lives with our authentic values, happiness becomes a natural byproduct. It is no longer something we need to chase, but a state of being that arises from living with purpose. By redefining success, Stoicism also frees us from the societal pressure to conform. Whether we choose not to marry, have children, or follow a traditional career path, Stoicism encourages us to live authentically, unburdened by guilt or self-doubt. Instead of adhering to a prescribed path, we can forge our own, guided by our personal values and desires. This freedom allows us to pursue a life of purpose without being constrained by societal expectations. Modern Stoicism teaches us that true success is not about measuring ourselves against others or seeking external validation, but about living in alignment with our inner principles. Happiness does not lie in fleeting pleasures or accomplishments dictated by society, but in practicing virtue, self-awareness, and wisdom. True happiness is about needing less, finding contentment in simple, everyday moments that bring us joy. By embracing the Stoic way of life, we learn that happiness comes from intentional living, making choices that reflect our values, and bringing us peace. Stoicism teaches that we are the architects of our own happiness. The pursuit of true fulfillment is not about meeting societal expectations, but about rejecting those that do not align with our core values. By cultivating a virtuous and purposeful life, we redefine success on our terms. Modern Stoicism not only offers an alternative to the traditional view of success, but empowers us to create our own definition of happiness, rooted in our personal wisdom and sense of purpose. Number 5. Focusing on growth and development. Living without the weight of societal expectations can feel liberating. When you step away from the pressure to follow the traditional paths of marriage, children, and career milestones, you suddenly find yourself with more time, more energy, and more space to invest in your own personal growth. This is where Stoic philosophy offers powerful guidance. Stoicism encourages us to pursue lifelong learning and self-improvement, always striving to grow in mind, spirit, and character. By choosing a path that is not dictated by the world's expectations, you open yourself up to discovering what is truly important to you. For example, without the obligation to raise children or maintain a traditional family structure, you can find more space in your life for things like traveling, reading, or engaging in hobbies that you truly resonate with. Take the example of someone like Sarah, a woman in her early 30s who decided not to get married and become a mother. Instead of adhering to the pressures of settling down, Sarah used her time and energy to travel the world, diving into books on philosophy and history and pursuing her passion for photography. Over time, she realized that these experiences brought her far more satisfaction than any societal achievement ever could. She discovered the true value of exploring her interests and developing herself, not based on what others expected, but on what felt fulfilling for her. Sarah's story shows us that the freedom to choose a life of personal growth can lead to fulfillment far beyond traditional societal measures. This is the essence of Stoic secrets. Finding fulfillment not in meeting external expectations, but in nurturing our own inner wisdom and character. In the Stoic view, fulfillment isn't about conforming to the world's view of success. It's about the continuous development of your own mind and spirit. Stoicism teaches that our true purpose isn't to chase after things that society deems important, but to understand and cultivate who we are on a deeper level. By stepping outside of conventional expectations, we find the space to learn more about ourselves, improve our strengths, and find our true passions. Think about your own life for a moment. How much of your time and energy goes into meeting external expectations? How often do you find yourself running the race others have set for you, without ever stopping to ask if it's the race you truly want to run? This question might be uncomfortable for some, but it's essential for personal growth. When you start to reject the pressure to conform, you open up a world of possibilities. You get the freedom to discover your own path, one that is fueled by your interests and passions. When we focus on developing our character, we no longer define ourselves by the milestones society tells us to hit. We define ourselves by our ability to grow, adapt, and cultivate wisdom. And in this space, true fulfillment is born, not from the number of children you have or the type of career you hold, but from the depth of your personal growth and the peace you find within. What does true growth look like for you? Is it something defined by societal expectations, or is it a path you carve out for yourself based on your own values? The Stoic path invites us to focus not on the roles we are told to play, but on the person we are capable of becoming when we embrace our unique journey. In a world that constantly tells us what to do and how to live, the Stoic secret lies in learning to listen to our own inner voice. By focusing on our personal development, we don't just become better versions of ourselves, we find joy and fulfillment in the process itself, regardless of whether our life aligns with traditional standards. This is the path of true freedom, where your life becomes an ongoing journey of self-improvement and discovery, led by your own values and wisdom. So the question is, how will you choose to invest your time and energy? Will you continue to chase external goals, or will you focus on growing into the person you are meant to be? The choice is yours, and in that choice lies the power to create a life that is truly fulfilling. Number 6. Living by your own values. The ultimate freedom in life comes when we choose to live in accordance with our own values, rather than simply adhering to the expectations imposed by society. In a world where we are constantly surrounded by external pressures to follow a prescribed path, be it marriage, parenthood, or career success, modern Stoicism offers a powerful antidote by encouraging us to live authentically, rooted in our own principles and desires. The Stoic philosophy teaches us that true fulfillment does not come from the approval of others or the fulfillment of societal roles, but from aligning our actions with what we truly value. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca wisely stated, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." This reminder challenges us to question whether we are spending our time living in a way that is truly meaningful to us, or whether we are simply going through the motions to meet expectations that may not align with our true self. In modern life, many individuals find themselves walking down paths laid out by others, paths that may involve marriage, children, and the pursuit of a certain lifestyle, often without questioning whether those choices are truly their own. However, when we embrace the Stoic notion of living authentically, we find the courage to break free from the conventional mold. For example, a person who consciously chooses to live independently without the societal pressure to marry or have children can experience a profound sense of liberation. This freedom is not an act of rebellion, but rather an act of self-discovery, choosing to live in a way that aligns with their unique goals, values, and passions. In doing so, they create space to explore new paths, pursue personal ambitions, and focus on what brings them genuine joy and fulfillment. The Stoic approach encourages individuals to see freedom not as the absence of societal constraints, but as the active pursuit of a life that is fully their own. What makes this journey so empowering is that it allows individuals to make decisions that are guided by inner wisdom rather than external pressures. Stoicism teaches us that external circumstances, such as what others think of us or what society expects of us, are beyond our control. However, we have full control over our reactions to these circumstances and our choices in response to them. By rejecting societal dictates, we embrace the freedom to chart our own course, unaffected by the judgments or expectations of others. The freedom that Stoicism advocates for is not a mere absence of constraints, but a deeper, more meaningful autonomy that comes from acting in harmony with our true self. This is a profound shift in perspective, one that allows us to lead lives that are not only authentic, but also deeply fulfilling. Living by our own values offers the freedom to pursue personal goals and passions that may have been overshadowed by the weight of societal norms. It empowers us to define success on our own terms, not according to what others deem worthy or necessary. As Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, reminds us, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. In this way, Stoicism teaches us that the pursuit of happiness and peace is not about conforming to the standards set by others, but about cultivating the freedom to live a life that is true to ourselves. Whether it's choosing not to marry, deciding against having children, or breaking free from other societal expectations, living by our own values allows us to create a life that is uniquely our own, a life that reflects who we truly are and what we truly want. In today's world, where the pressure to conform is often overwhelming, Stoicism offers a refreshing and empowering perspective. It encourages us to question the assumptions we may have about success, happiness, and fulfillment, allowing us to reframe our goals and make decisions based on what truly resonates with us. By aligning our actions with our values, we not only create a sense of inner peace, but also cultivate a deeper understanding of ourselves. The freedom that comes from living authentically is not about rejecting the world around us, but about engaging with it in a way that is conscious, deliberate, and true to who we are. Modern Stoicism teaches us that true happiness is not found in the external trappings of life, whether in marriage, children, or societal approval, but in the quiet confidence that comes from living a life that is fully aligned with our deepest values and desires. In this way, Stoicism offers a path to a more meaningful, authentic, and fulfilling life, one that is defined by our own choices, not by the expectations of the world. In conclusion, the choice to walk away from marriage, children, and other societal expectations is deeply personal, and modern Stoicism provides a powerful framework for making such decisions. It teaches us that true happiness and fulfillment aren't found in adhering to societal norms, but in living authentically according to our own values and desires. By embracing Stoic principles, self-reflection, emotional resilience, and inner peace, we can navigate life's choices with clarity and purpose, free from the weight of external pressures. Remember, it's not about conforming to the roles that society prescribes, but finding the path that brings true freedom, peace, and fulfillment. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Stoic Secrets. Make sure to turn on notifications so you never miss our upcoming insights into the world of modern Stoicism and Stoic secrets. Stay true to yourself and let Stoicism guide you toward a life of purpose and clarity.